For 3 years, the man my family trusts most was my secret lover, my uncle. And the scariest part of me still loves him, even though I know it's destroying me. My name is Yuna, and I am about to tell you a story of what happens behind closed doors in my perfect Korean family. But before I continue, if you like interesting stories like this, remember to subscribe so that you won't miss any interesting story. Today is my grandmother's 70th birthday. Everyone is laughing, especially at what my Uncle Minho is doing. He's making that funny face that makes all the kids giggle. He's everyone's favorite. What they don't know is that 30 minutes before this picture was taken, I was on my knees for him in the bathroom down this hallway. I was 23, fresh out of Yuha Women's University with a literature degree that everyone in my family considered useless. My mother, aunties, even my cousins, they all had opinions. Yunia, when will you get a proper job? When will you find a nice Seoul National University graduate to marry? I felt like I was drowning in their expectations, shrinking smaller each day. Our family is traditional, even by Korean standards. Sunday dinners were mandatory. Every holiday, every birthday, the entire clan gathered at my grandparents' home in Seongbukdong. The men drank soju and talked politics, the women cooked and gossiped, and the grandchildren were paraded around like achievements. I was the problem, the dreamer, the reader, the one who preferred poetry to practical matters. Uncle Minho was different. He wasn't a blood relative. He was the son of my grandfather's best friend who died in the Korean War. My grandparents took him in when he was 12, raised him as their own. He was 15 years older than me, a successful architect who had studied abroad. He carried himself with a quiet confidence that made everyone respect him. The shift happened gradually. He'd ask me what I was reading. He remembered the names of authors I mentioned once. When the family criticized my choice to work at a small publishing house instead of a chaebol, he'd gently change the subject. Yuna has a creative spirit, he'd say. The world needs storytellers too. During my grandfather's 70th birthday celebration, a few years ago, the pressure reached its peak. My aunt had arranged a blind date with the son of her golf partner, and everyone was discussing my future wedding as if I weren't in the room. I escaped to the backyard, tears of frustration welling in my eyes. The sliding door opened and closed. It was Minho. He didn't say anything, just stood beside me looking at the moon. After a long silence, he spoke softly. "They're afraid of you, Yuna." I laughed bitterly. Afraid of me, they think I'm a failure. "No," he said, turning to face me. "They're afraid of your freedom. You remind them of the choices they didn't make. The woman I see is brave, intelligent, and utterly captivating." His words hung in the air between us. The way he looked at me, it wasn't uncle to niece. It was man to woman. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was wrong, so wrong. But in that moment, it felt like the only right thing in my life. The first physical contact happened by accident during Chuseok. The house was overflowing with relatives, children screaming, aunties arguing over kimchi recipes, the television blaring. I was carrying a heavy tray of songpyeon through the crowded living room when someone bumped into me. Minhyu's hands shot out to steady me, his grip firm on my waist. We stood frozen for a moment, the chaos around us fading to background noise. I could feel the heat of his hands through my hanbok. His eyes darkened, and I saw the same shocking awareness I felt reflected in them. He released me quickly, but the electricity remained. For the rest of the evening, I was hyper-aware of his presence, where he stood, who he spoke to, when his eyes found mine across the room. During the family photo, he positioned himself directly behind me. I felt his breath on my neck and my entire body. Later that night, as the family settled down to watch a movie, I slipped away to the garden for air. The autumn air was crisp, the moon full and bright. I heard the sliding door open and close again. I didn't need to turn around to know it was him. His voice was husky when he spoke. "We can't do this, Yuna." "I know," I whispered. But when his hands settled on my shoulders, when he turned me to face him, all thoughts of can't evaporated. That first kiss was desperate, hungry, filled with 3 years of unspoken tension. When we finally broke apart, we were both shaking. "What are we doing?" I breathed, my forehead resting against his chest. Something we can never take back, he said, his voice thick with emotion. And God help me, I don't want to. That was the beginning of our secret world within the family world. A world where glances across the dinner table held hidden meanings, where casual touches burned with intention, where every family gathering became both torture and paradise. For 3 years, we became masters of deception. Our secret language developed naturally. Can you help me bring up more blankets from the basement? Meant meet me in 5 minutes. I think I left my phone charger in the guest room, meant the coast is clear. We became experts at stealing moments in a house full of people. The first time we were intimate was during a summer family retreat to Jeju Island. The whole family rented a large traditional hanok with paper-thin walls. The risk was astronomical, which made the thrill unbearable. Late at night, when everyone was asleep, I slipped out of the room I shared with my cousins and met him on the beach. The sound of the waves covered our whispers, the dark ocean swallowed our secrets. We made love in the sand, both of us crying afterward from the sheer impossibility of it all. Back in Seoul, our opportunities were fewer but more intense. Family dinners became our hunting ground. I'd go to the bathroom, and he'd follow 2 minutes later. We'd have frantic, silent encounters in the upstairs bathroom, my hand pressed against my mouth to stay quiet while my family laughed and ate just meters away. The fear of discovery was a drug. It made every touch more electric, every kiss more desperate. The psychological toll was immense. I started having anxiety attacks before family gatherings. I'd spend hours picking out what to wear, wondering if he'd like it, then feeling disgusted with myself for caring. I loved him with a ferocity that scared me, but I also hated what we were doing. The guilt was a constant companion, whispering in my ear during Sunday dinners as I smiled at my unknowing parents. Minho handled it differently. He became the perfect uncle, the devoted family member. He'd play with my younger cousins, help my grandfather with his medicine, offer financial advice to my struggling cousins. Watching him play this role so flawlessly made me wonder, was I the only one tormented by our secret? Was he actually enjoying this double life? The cracks began to show in small ways. I started refusing setups with nice Korean boys my mother found, which made everyone suspicious. My work suffered. I couldn't concentrate, missed deadlines. My friends noticed I was withdrawing, but I couldn't tell them why. How could I explain that I was in love with my uncle? That the man everyone respected was my secret lover? The closest we came to getting caught was during my grandfather's birthday. We were in the study, hidden behind a bookshelf, when we heard my mother's voice right outside the door. Yuna, Minho Opa, has anyone seen them? We froze, our hearts pounding in sync. I could see the sheer panic in Minho's eyes. For the first time, I saw fear in him, real, debilitating fear. We stayed perfectly still for what felt like hours until her footsteps faded away. When we finally emerged, we were both pale and shaken. "We can't keep doing this," I whispered, tears in my eyes. "I know," he said, pulling me into a crushing hug, "but I can't let you go either." That was the tragedy of us. We were trapped in a beautiful, terrible prison of our own making. The love was real, but so was the damage. And with each passing month, the walls of that prison felt increasingly suffocating. The beginning of the end came unexpectedly. My period was late, 2 weeks late. The possibility that I might be pregnant sent me into a spiral of panic. A baby would mean discovery, scandal, the complete destruction of our family. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. When I finally confessed my fear to Minho, I saw the color drain from his face. "We'll figure it out," he said, but his voice lacked its usual confidence. "Figure what out, Minho? There's no figuring this out. My parents would disown me. Your career would be ruined." It turned out to be a false alarm. Just stress, the doctor said. But the scare forced us to confront the reality we'd been avoiding. This couldn't continue forever. We were playing with fire, and eventually, someone would get burned. The final catalyst was my younger sister's engagement party. The whole family was gathered at a fancy hotel in Gangnam. Minho had been distant for weeks, citing work pressures. That night, I noticed him talking intently with my father. Later, my mother pulled me aside, her face beaming with pride. Unia, your father and Minho have been talking. Minho knows the perfect man for you, his business partner from Harvard. He's setting up a meeting next week. The world tilted. I felt sick. He was setting me up with someone. After everything we'd shared, I found him alone on the balcony, nursing a glass of whiskey. Is it true? I asked, my voice trembling. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Una, we have to be realistic. You should marry, have children, live a normal life. And what about us? Was this all just, what, a distraction for you? His silence was more painful than any answer he could have given. In that moment, I saw our relationship for what it really was, a beautiful, temporary escape for him, but my entire world. The confrontation happened later that night, in an empty conference room we'd sneaked into. Tears streamed down my face as I poured out 3 years of pent-up emotion. The love, the guilt, the fear, the sacrifice. I can't do this anymore, Minho. I love you, but this secret is killing me. Every family gathering, I die a little inside. I look at my mother and I want to confess everything. I can't live this lie anymore. For the first time, I saw tears in his eyes, too. You think this has been easy for me. I lay awake every night hating myself for what I'm doing to you, to this family that took me in. You deserve so much more than stolen moments and hidden kisses. We held each other and cried for what felt like hours. Two people mourning a love that was real but could never survive in the light. That was our true goodbye. Not dramatic, not angry, but heartbreakingly sad. Now, 6 months later, I'm learning to live with the ghost of what we had. I see him at family events, and we're polite, distant. The inside jokes are gone, the secret glances extinguished. My family thinks we had a falling out. They even try to mediate sometimes, not understanding they're reopening a wound that will never fully heal. Sometimes I catch him looking at me with such profound sadness that I have to look away. The love didn't disappear. It just became another family secret, buried beneath layers of duty and tradition. And I'm left with the memory of a love that was as beautiful as it was doomed, wondering if the joy was worth the permanent scar it left on my soul.